Please welcome past President Peter Hotas, co-chair of the Communications Committee. And there you are. And I will stay with him in standing in for Karen, who is not able to join us this afternoon.
Well, thank you, Gina. The Communications Awards is a society-level award recognizing excellence in tropical medicine storytelling through the written word. And as we all recognize today, there is an urgency for accurate reporting of science to a non-science audience, now more than ever, certainly. Communications Awards entries are submitted throughout the year and judged on their ability to enhance the public understanding and appreciation of tropical medicine research, clinical practice, and policy. This year, the Communications Award Committee received 30 eligible entries for our panel of scientists and communications professionals to evaluate. Selecting one standout as a winner was very tough. And I mention this because it bodes well for the tropical medicine community that we have a robust series of articles that we can expect in the future. We need the news media to tell our stories and be our third-party advocates, and to this with quality articles and accurate science. Before we announce this year's winning submission, we want to acknowledge 2 articles that the Communication Awards Committee elected to award with honorable mention. The first one was Nipah virus, An Anatomy of an Outbreak by Priyanka Pula, which appeared in the Hindu on June 2nd this year. Priyanka did an outstanding job reporting how Kerala State handled the Nipah virus earlier this year and how it holds crucial lessons for the rest of India. The second honorable mention was awarded to Mark Johnson of the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel for his article, The Hunt for a Future Killer. Mark reported on zoonotic diseases and the ongoing efforts of one research team to track those viruses in rural Uganda. I'm pleased to announce that this year's winning entry for the 2018 Communications Award is entitled Chasing a Killer. It appeared in the Washington Post on November 3rd, 2017. Written by national reporter Lena Sun with photos by Molina Mara. The article reports on efforts by scientists from the CDC and the Congo Republic to track the origins of monkeypox virus. Lena and Molina were given a rare invitation by the Centers for Disease Control to accompany its scientists to the village of Manfuete in the Congo, a 6-hour boat trip from the nearest airport. The resulting article was reported and beautifully photographed from the ground, offering readers an effective glimpse into the world of virus hunters. I should also like to add as a personal note that Lena's been an extraordinary champion of vaccines and the science of infectious diseases. She's been an incredible journalist and advocate for our society. Lena, please join us on stage.
Thank you very much for this honor. It's my privilege to do this job because I think it's one of the most interesting things I've done in my journalism career. I'm one of the reporters on the national staff at the Washington Post. I cover health. I'm based in Washington, but the last few years the focus has been on a lot of these infectious disease outbreaks, as you all know, Ebola in West Africa, Zika in Brazil. And I think it's important for Americans to understand that the work that you all do behind the scenes, not just when outbreaks happen, but all the work that goes into trying to understand and prevent them. And I had always wanted to do that with the CDC. I got the chance to go with them to Congo Republic, the 6-hour boat ride up, 9-hour back in the dugout canoe. And lots of interesting discussions about what we would do for the bathroom break. So we went to this remote village, and I think it was a chance to have explained to Americans the behind-the-scenes work that the scientists do that you all know so well. And they were trapping and sampling a variety of animals to try to find evidence of monkeypox, of a virus in the animals. And just the sheer logistics of going and bringing all the supplies from Atlanta, including a 48-ounce jar of Jif creamy peanut butter to make the bait for the traps. The sheer unpredictability of working in the field, not knowing when the workers were going to show up, or with the motor of the boat breaking down, or arriving in the village and the village chief not knowing that we were showing up and where were we going to pitch the tents that night. The patience, the determination, the ability to stay calm in all sorts of circumstances. It was so inspiring to see, and I think it's really important for the work that you do, not just to write about it in the journals that are peer-reviewed and that are read by the very few, but to share that information as much as possible at a time when there's such an attack on science and on facts. And in order to do that, you have to be able to explain what you do in plain English. And it is very important, and I think so many scientists do such wonderful work, but it's just as important for you to explain that and communicate that to the broader audience. It's difficult, but it's important. Thank you very much.
That's great. Thank you, Peter. So now we move on to the Bailey K. Ashford Medal, which honors distinguished work in tropical medicine. And this year, we have 2 Ashford Medal recipients. The first Ashford Medal, will Barbara Sorkin please come to the stage to present to Wendy Prudhomme O'Meara.
Good evening. I'm delighted to have the joy and honor of presenting this medal to Wendy this evening. I first met her when she came to the Fogarty Center at the NIH to do her postdoc with my late husband, Ellis Mackenzie. There's some parallels between their journeys to malaria research. Neither of them started out that way. Ellis was doing ecology research in Papua New Guinea, when he fell in love with the intellectual challenges and potential to do good that mathematical modeling of malaria offered. Wendy shares Ellis's passion for intellectual challenges and the search for truth in the service of improving lives. She learned, as all of us who worked with Ellis did, to question what we think we know, that the original data often don't say what we've been taught they do, and that going back to those source data can be critical for the science to advance. Wendy's path, like Ellis's, changed after her first research trip abroad. She fell in love with Kenya, where appropriately for an Ashford Medal awardee, she's lived and worked pretty much ever since. That first trip exemplified her ability to nimbly acquire whatever expertise is needed for the task at hand, as she jumped in to help teach the course that she'd gone there to collect data from. That focus on malaria research was already a long way from Wendy's UC Berkeley degree in biochemistry and her MIT PhD in chemical engineering. Her research now ranges through slowing the development of resistance to antimalarials, improving the understanding and control of malaria transmission, and understanding non-malaria fevers. For her research, she has learned to do clinical trials, as well as to apply cutting-edge plasmodium genetics and spatial technologies. One of the ways that Wendy is continuing Ellis's legacy is through her suggestion that his collection of early 20th century works on malaria be made available to the research community at large. I'm pleased to tell you that Ross's studies on malaria is among the first of those books to be coming online through NIH's National Library of Medicine's Locator Plus database. Wendy is carrying on Ellis's joy in mentoring. Like him, she leavens the passion for truth-seeking with humor. I'm pleased to present this year's Ashford Medal with great pleasure to a superb scholar, researcher, mentor, and heir to Ellis, who I'm grateful to call a friend.
second Ashford Medal is recipient this year is Tyler Sharp, and will Joe Vanetz please come to the stage to present Dr. Sharp?
I'm very glad to be here, and I'm really honored to be able to present Tyler for the Bailey K. Ashford Award. It's super appropriate. He's been living in Puerto Rico as a CDC employee, first as an EIS officer and rising through the ranks, and this is where Bailey Ashford really did his work on hookworm anemia. And so Bailey Ashford really has had a tremendous public health impact and legacy for many years. And so Puerto Rico is going to be honoring Tyler for his contributions. Tyler is currently has it's those three stripy things on his jacket. He's a officer in the public health service. He'll tell you what it is. But he's risen through the ranks. Can I have the next? Let's see yeah. Okay. So he has an outstanding pedigree. He was born in Ohio and got lost and ended up in Canada at a fine university where he got his bachelor's degree. Then he went on to do graduate work in Bozeman, Montana. Did his PhD. He got lost even further in Texas. Ended up at Baylor with Mary Kay Estes doing norovirus virology. And then joined the CDC in 2010 where he joined the CDC dengue branch. He's been there ever since. He was seconded in 2014, and I'll show that in just a moment, but he's been focused on arboviral diseases and epidemiology in really all aspects. And currently he also holds an adjunct position at the Yale School of Public Health. You have the next slide. Just in the last couple of years, Tyler has led major contributions to understanding the natural history of Zika virus. In 2014, he was in Fiji, where there was an outbreak of Guillain-Barré syndrome, and he learned a lot from this outbreak because he applied it to the Zika outbreak, where we learned a lot about some of the neurological, devastating neurological effects of Zika. He also has worked on other diseases, including leptospirosis, endemicity in Puerto Rico, melioidosis, and the epidemiology of chikungunya and dengue, in not just the Caribbean area, but also in the South Pacific. He's a young lad. I can't even say the Bailey Ashford Award is supposed to be for mid-career, and he's so distinguished he is mid-career, but he's young mid-career, and I expect really outstanding things from him. Next slide, please. This is a slide of him in Fiji, among an affected Melanesian community with Guillain-Barré syndrome. And these are the lessons learned that he applied in Puerto Rico. And then last slide, his family, he's a newlywed. We should congratulate him in a moment. You can see him with his wife, Carla, and with many other of the Sharp family. They're not here tonight with him, except for in this photograph. But congratulations, Tyler, for this very well-deserved award.
Very quickly, I'd like to thank the Society, and very importantly, I don't see this as an award for me as an individual, but much more so for all the individuals working at CDC Dengue Branch, from the janitorial staff to the branch chief, everybody in between. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vanetz, and congratulations, Dr. Sharp. Our next award is the Joseph Augustin LePrince Medal. It's awarded in recognition of outstanding work in the field of malariology. Will Chandy John please come to the stage to present the Prince Medal to Miriam Laffer?
Some things just make you very happy, and it makes me very happy to present the Joseph Augustin LePrince 2018 medal to Dr. Miriam Laffer. The LePrince Medal is given once every 3 years for work in the field of malariology, and the list of awardees is the who's who of malaria research. And Dr. Laufer joins this list because of her distinguished work in malaria epidemiology. If I can have the next slide, please. So Dr. Laufer did her pediatric ID fellowship with Dr. Chris Plow at the University of Maryland, where she's remained and is now professor of pediatrics, as well as director of the Division of Malaria Research at the Institute for Global Health there. A particular highlight of Dr. Laufer's research in malaria epidemiology is her discovery of the return of chloroquine susceptibility in Malawi, which she published, as you'll see in that top thing, the top figure, as in the New England Journal of Medicine, a landmark article that to date has received almost 400 citations. She subsequently showed in another highly cited paper that the return of chloroquine-susceptible malaria in Malawi was a re-expansion of diverse susceptible parasites. And then this year, the study that you'll see in the lowest corner was her study in the Lancet Infectious Diseases that showed that chloroquine prophylaxis, or IPT, was not more effective than SPIPT in preventing malaria in pregnancy, despite the very high rate of SP resistance. If I can have the next slide, please. In other areas, she's done outstanding work characterizing clinical malaria in individuals with HIV, as well as studying the immunology of malaria in pregnancy. And her studies have really changed our understanding of malaria epidemiology. Miriam is also, as you will see, a mentor to many trainees, US, Malian, and Malawian, and she has a life beyond research that she celebrates with her husband Patrick and her 3 boys. As I've watched Miriam move from fellow to junior faculty member to senior faculty member and leader, I have marveled at her intelligence, her focus, her dedication, and her ability to just get things done. Most of all, I admire her ability to remain warm, caring, and nurturing, but at the same time tough as nails in her pursuit of excellence in research. Fortunately for us, Miriam has many, many years of great malaria research before her, and I can't wait to see what else we're going to learn from her. In the meantime, please join me in congratulating Dr. Miriam Laufer as the 2018 recipient of the LePrince Medal.
So much. This is such an honor, and you know, no one goes into this business expecting lots of praise and recognition, but when you get it, I just want everyone to know I feel very grateful and honored. Mostly, I'm so grateful every day that I found this career that I find so meaningful and fulfilling. Every day, my colleagues and I wake up in the morning and decide what we are going to do to try to save lives, and we just go ahead and do it. It's been a great career, and I look forward to how it will progress. And for those of you that know me, know that my true passion is training and mentorship. And I want to give a special thank you to my trainees, former and current, the people that I mentor who work directly with me, the people who hang around our group and get trained by my colleagues. It's been a wonderful experience learning for myself what it means to be a mentor, and it's been a pleasure to work with every single one of you. Thanks to you who are my family at work. Thanks to you for the dedication and patience of my real family at home, and thank you very much to the Society for this recognition.
Last but not least is our final award, the Clara Southmayd Ludlow Medal, was created by the Society in 2017 and awarded for the first time during last year's annual meeting in Baltimore. It's the first society-level medal to be named after a female icon in tropical medicine. It recognizes both male and female honorees for their inspirational and pioneering spirit, whose work represents success despite obstacles and advances the field of tropical medicine. Will Barney Klein please come to the stage to present the Clara Ludlow Medal to Najeri Wame?
What a joy it is to present this prestigious medal to Professor Jerry Wami. Jerry's pioneering spirit as a Kenyan woman was ignited by a high school term paper on river blindness. She became driven to contribute to the knowledge and control of this disease. Jerry was the first in her family to leave Kenya for higher education. Her keen mind, her boundless energy and tenacity led her through undergraduate and graduate studies that culminated in 1995 with a PhD degree in parasitology from Tulane. Her academic lineage flows from distinguished parasitologists, many of whom were mentored by an honored name in our society, Professor Paul Beaver. Professors Tom Oriel and Patrick Lammy co-chaired Jerry's dissertation committee. I served as departmental chair in that era. One is immensely impressed with what this remarkable woman has accomplished since completing her doctoral studies. And time permits only a very shallow inspection. First slide, and I encourage you to read it, please, because of the time limitations. Describes some of her current activities. She is currently serves as Dean of the School of Pharmacy and Health Sciences in Nairobi. This position presents her with new academic and managerial challenges, but she remains deeply involved in research and advisory capacities. Jerry has 3 children and a pair of 9-year-old grandchildren, and I know that her work keeps her away from these grandchildren far more than she would like. The next slide shares with you what colleagues and peers have to say about her. Some pretty wonderful comments. I'll finish by sharing with you the recognition that Professor Wami received 3 months ago in Kenya, that nation's Nelson Mandela Award. I've borrowed a few words from the chair of the board that selected her. And the final slide cited her commitment to research, integrity, productivity, and sincere passion for everything that is good about Africa. Professor Wami, please come forward and become the 2nd recipient of the Clara Ludlow Medal.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's very difficult to stand in front of all of you because even as I receive this award, I know truly that I'm not the most deserving person. There are many, many other people who would have received this award today. The difference is that I took the chance to work in an area that has been very difficult, and without the populations that I have been working with in Kenya, both for my field work and in the laboratories, I would not be standing here today. I think that's the only difference. Plus, of course, being a member of the American Society of Tropical Medicine, which I would not be if there was no such a society. So I'm really running out of words to express my deep appreciation for being recognized here for this award. And I can't overemphasize the importance of giving women a chance. I want to underscore what our director at the World Health Organization in the African region, Dr. Moet, just shared with us in her keynote address, that women matter, and in most cases, women are always left behind. Had my parents, and I happen to be the fifth born of 14 children, of one father and one mother. Had my parents not recognized that it's important to educate the girl child, I would not be here today, and I really accept this award on behalf of them, or it's actually not just mine, but for them and all those people who have supported me along the way during my training and the populations that I have worked with in the field. Thank you.